Nice. Welcome, everybody. I was about to say what episode we're on, but I don't know.
I think it's like 36. I'm pretty certain it's 36, which is insane. But then again, some of them were the SPL thing, which, by the way, lots of people have listened to. So thank you for that.
That's very good. I feel like we've done more, but also at the same time, 36 is a very good number.
If we're doing it weekly, that would be a substantial amount of time, and we're not doing it. Well, we were doing it weekly, but. Oh, sorry, Sarah's texting me about the dog.
He won't fucking shut up.
Nice, solid intro to this show. Motus Prodcast, welcome back. Joined by one guest, although there are two extra people in the room. One of which, if he fucking utters a word, will be kicked out immediately. Because he's had his chance on this, and he got too drunk, and it went a bit off the rails. So Max Barker's sitting in the corner, and he's going to stay very quiet.
Hey guys!
That's it, yeah. And our proper guest is not Robbie Griffith. I know people have asked. It's Luke Stones.
Hola, señoritas.
Mexican Luke Stones.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm well.
You're well. He's
Despite
just eating.
my bail that everybody's seen.
Yeah,
Everyone thinks that my head is like I've got a tumour and I'm broken, but I'm okay.
I mean, that seems like the first thing that everyone's kind of been asking you, like whenever you meet up with them. Was it the same when you were in Belgium, which you just come back from?
Yeah. It's actually like really awkward. I hate when people come up to me and just say like, they're just like, well, how's your head? And it's like, the thing is like, my head is absolutely fine. Like,
I mean, apart from the fact that it's fractured.
Well, it's probably healed by now, but everybody asks me, how's your head? And I just have to say, it's fine.
You have like a set answer now because it's been so much.
The actual like problem is my shoulder, not my head.
That's the bit that's actually hurting, and like you've got to wait until you can train, right?
Is it muscular or is it where you broke your collarbone?
Well, I thought it was when I broke my collarbone, but the hospital said it was muscular.
Okay.
Oh, really?
They said it was just literally muscle bruising. Which I kind of don't believe.
Oh, so didn't they say like a separated...
Well, they started off saying it was AC separation, where like the ligaments or tendons like separate.
Yeah.
But then the next day, in the morning when I was in hospital, like a physiotherapist came and saw me, and he just said it was muscle bruising, and I was okay to leave.
Okay. So why are you not allowed to train for 6 weeks? Or is that the head?
That's probably to do with the head.
I went to see a GP when I got back to England, and I basically said I've had this accident. I've been told to see a neuro doctor, and also my shoulder hurts like hell still. And she basically said, I can't do anything. I'm going to have to refer you to a neuro doctor, which they should contact you within 3 weeks. And I'm also going to send you to a physiotherapist, which could be up to 6 weeks.
That's through the NHS.
Yeah.
We were just talking off mic about that. Mine nearly took a whole year to get through the NHS. Yeah.
It's so stupid though, because like after a whole year, like it could just be fine.
Yeah. Have you thought about getting an MRI? It's also a very long waiting list.
Yeah.
But if you feel like your shoulder's getting better, then maybe.
Have you thought about using crystals to help your healing?
Rub them on my body.
See a spiritual.
Yeah. Anyway, let's wheel this fucking way back.
Yeah, this kind of went forward straight away.
Yeah. Luke Stones, 19?
Yeah.
19, from Poole.
Yes.
Poole or Bournemouth?
I was born in Poole, and I live in Poole, whereas Max lives in Bournemouth.
Oh, okay. And which is for anyone outside of England, is southwest down kind of on that little weird willy that sticks out the left-hand corner of England.
Is Bournemouth a city? Would you say it's a city?
Bournemouth isn't like...
Does it have a cathedral?
It doesn't have a cathedral, and it's not technically a city.
But it's bigger than a town, that's the thing.
Yeah, I usually say I'm from Bournemouth because people recognise it more.
That's what I was going to say.
And it's like bigger than Poole, for sure.
So, you are 19. How long have you been doing parkour?
I've been doing parkour for like 7.5 years now.
So you were like 12?
Yeah, I started when I was 11, 12.
Yeah, my maths is awful.
Yeah. I was aware of you for quite a while, I think, before I met you.
Yeah. I remember watching YouTube videos of you and
it was like only
your friends in your garden.
Yeah. But that was years and years before Motus existed. And this was before I knew Max Barker as well.
Were you aware of Luke because you always wore green?
That's why you put green down.
I just
It
have
says green question mark. I was like, I don't know what that means.
There's a video on YouTube where I wear like green chinos and then like
It's the green hoodie. You always wore a green
I
hoodie.
wore a green hoodie, and I also had this like long
green
sleeve,
socks.
green like pullover, like sweater.
When
You
you're that
could have
young,
been blue.
but green.
Yeah, but green. Slowly, the Parkour Power Rangers could have formed over time.
Well, it was my favorite. I don't know if I'd say it's my favorite color still, because like
You hit puberty and you were like, oh, fuck.
yeah, I actually I had bright green walls. Like
I've seen
yeah,
on my,
yeah,
on my, in my
In the
in my
videos.
room. Yeah.
That's intense.
I basically just like, it was like, what color do you want this? And I'd be like, well, my favorite color's green, so let's go for it. But like
Took it
now
really
it's just
far.
not a sensible choice for anything to be green, is it?
Oh, it's weird, yeah. Like, and that color green, because we're not talking like a nice, tasteful, like,
green. I'm trying to find something green, but it's not going to help anyone.
It's the
listening,
green
is
that's
it?
like grasses in the summer.
Yeah.
Bright
In a kid's
green.
cartoon, like
Yeah.
saturated as fuck. Your the green socks were probably the last thing to go, right? Like, there's least when we went to Least, you still had green socks.
I still have those green socks in my
Really?
house. Yeah,
Nailed to your wall.
under my bed.
Now you
crusty,
are
crusty green
Yeah.
socks.
Now you wear ankle socks or trainer socks, whatever you call them.
Yeah, I don't know if I think is I still say my favorite color is like green, but like I don't necessarily love it, and like I don't like necessarily like go for green as like an option.
Yeah. I guess it's just stuck with you from childhood.
I feel like I never, as a kid, like had.
A favorite color.
Well, like it would change.
Yeah,
And I'd
I would have
always
thought you'd just be like black.
Nah, because I mean, I wear a lot, but it was like some people felt like attached to a color. Like, you obviously were green,
Yeah.
blue with blue. Some people were like that's mine. Whereas I never had that. Max, do you want to not fucking? He's tearing Velcro off his trainers because he doesn't know how to do his laces.
He has Velcro trainers. He has to train in obviously lace ups because no one like.
Yeah, we have to lace Max's shoes.
I tie
before every
shoes for him
jam.
every morning.
That's crazy. Anyway, back to you started parkour when you were 12.
11. Yeah.
11, 12-ish?
I got into it when I was like 11. Like me and my friends were watching YouTube, and we saw Damien Walters and Tim Sheaf videos. And basically at school, like every day in the playground, there was this one wall outside our classroom.
There always is.
And we would just sesh it like all lunchtime, all break times, and we learned like reverse vault, Kong, dash.
Did you know what like they were, or were you just watching videos and then just do it? Like, did you know you were doing
I knew
parkour?
we knew what names were.
Yeah,
because
okay.
we were like we'd ask each other like, oh, did you learn the Kong vault yet? And stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sick.
And did your mates, are they still going, or is it just you?
No, like, yeah, I had this, one of my friends, like, we started a team, and that's like when I say I started training. Like, that's when
the team called?
it's called Urban Twist Kids. And the reason, the reason for it is because we started going to this parkour, it was a free running class at a gymnastics centre, and it was called Urban Twist.
Oh,
So we called ourselves the Urban Twist Kids.
Is this prior to you knowing Scott and everything like that?
Yeah.
So like
just
you
about.
hadn't, okay.
Yeah.
Because wait, did Max start at Parkour Project straight away?
Yeah, Max started in Parkour Project, right?
No, not the Parkour Project.
Oh, just at the pavilion, is it?
Oh yeah, but he
Pavilion.
started under Scott.
Yeah.
But you found it
Wait,
independently.
hang on. Let me tell it. And then
Sorry.
So yeah. Basically, the Urban Twist sessions, they got stopped because they were calling themselves free running, although they didn't have like a free running license. So like their insurance got void or whatever. And then so we kind of went to the streets with it and we started making videos. That's where we called ourselves Urban Twist Kids and all that. And we knew there was this team called Pure Precision in Bournemouth at the time, which were like this legendary team. Like you wanted to be on Pure Precision because it was like all the cool guys, and they were the guys who were like training in Bournemouth.
Who was on it?
Nobody really know them. There's a guy called Jamie J, Reese Toff, Tom Lambert. Yeah,
Do they still train?
Reese, I see Reese Toff about. Doesn't train. He used to be like a gymnast, so you'll see him do like the odd like backflip here and there. Jamie J though, he's like trying to come back. Like I still talk to him like every now and
They
then.
have long hair.
Yeah.
Really?
Jamie
Yeah.
J.
You just sounds like a fucking like he'd wear like floral shirts and long hair and like have a necklace and be the cool guy.
Not a necklace, but floral
Like
shirts
a
and long
beach,
hair.
yeah, like a beach kid, Jamie J.
He had the big stretcher rings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking a shell necklace.
I mean, there's always been a community in Bournemouth because of Scott, obviously, right? So it's just weird because thinking of you like starting parkour, it's just like weird that there was already another team going in the same area.
No, okay, so Pure Precision, you know what I mean? We're doing a performance with Scott, and like Scott's company was like Train Hard, and like he'd asked Pure Precision to like join in this performance, and it was in Bournemouth Square, and I went and like watched it, and they were handing out these leaflets to go do the pavilion dance parkour session. So that's how I got into it, and I went along with this friend that I went to Urban Twist with. His name was Finn Reynolds, and yeah, we went along to some of the sessions, and that's where I met Max. And Finn, the other guy who was in the team, I remember he did like a front flip. He was trying like double front flip off the trampette and like really hurt his neck. And he was also into like rugby, and his parents like really liked rugby, and they didn't like him doing parkour. And they were like, "Oh, you've hurt your neck, and like we don't
Rugby's a proper sport.
Yeah, we don't want this to affect your rugby career."
Yeah,
stuff like that.
And he played rugby for a year later, and then got into fucking ketamine or something.
Yeah, no, he actually does do a lot of.
Of course he does. Of course he does.
I've just put this out on the internet. If he's actually like, he's like, oh shit,
listening to it in the car with his parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd never thought about that. So you started, and in your town,
there was
a community and a team. Like it was established.
Yeah. That was
aged 11. Like it was
Yeah, and there's people you didn't know who, like you probably see in videos who train in Bournemouth. Is that how it was? Like, you didn't know Scott at that time, did you? But would you have seen Scott's videos?
Like Scott was kind of a part of Pure Precision.
Okay.
He was in the videos, but I don't know if he was actually part of the team at a point, but like he was definitely like a part of the videos. You knew who he was, and then like I remember watching his videos on Urban Free Flow as well.
Yeah.
This is
Scott Jackson, for anyone who doesn't know, who is OG fucking god level.
Owns the Parkour project in Poole.
Yeah.
Sick gem.
Yeah, he's literally like a god athlete that like not really many people know.
Yeah,
he's just got like the perfect mentality for parkour.
Just everyone respects like his training.
Yeah,
like,
if you know him and like know what he's done, know like
well, I mean, because of him,
parkour,
it's like Bournemouth and Poole have turned into what is described as like a talent hub, where like Colorado's the same. Like rising talent comes from that area because there are good athletes who have existed thanks to his programs, and they continue to do so. Because if you're a kid and you go, "Oh, parkour looks cool. I live in Bournemouth," and you Google it, and you find Luke and Max training in the same city as you, and you're around people like that, and then there's Scott, and there's all the other people, your chances of being a good athlete are so much higher than if you live in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Like
even yeah.
Like for you, it's obviously the same, right? You didn't know.
Yeah, like you and me grew up like in places where you go like, oh, parkour's cool. Google your town name. Like, does anyone train? Not a single video. Like, try and find someone local 30 miles away.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I never thought about that.
Like, I was when I first started, so when I was like part of Urban Twist Kids, I was very like flip orientated. I used to do like loads of like front flips, all the flips you could think of. Like,
I think that's
as
the
a kid.
Yeah,
as a kid, like when I coach, it's the same thing.
Especially watching like Damien Walters,
because
and
that was
stuff like
kind of
that.
labelled as slightly labelled as parkour, wasn't it? Parkour
Yeah.
So the flips always looked a bit more impressive than the actual
you
jumps.
don't have the appreciation, because even when you started at the gym, where me and Keelan met, he was just like, I like flips, and I was like, mate, get strong, do some jumps.
It's because your legs haven't developed yet, so parkour just seems a bit boring.
So like when I started going to these sessions with Scott Jackson, basically Scott said like stand back,
do climb ups.
Yeah, he was like, right, okay, before you like do loads and loads of flips in my sessions, like take the time and learn like the parkour moves, and then you can like mix them together and like do what you like, pretty much. So over like the next one and a half years, like I learned all like the parkour fundamentals, all like the basics, and like just gaining my strength. And then like also at the same time, like we'd get like free time in the session, and then I'd like want to learn like a wall flip or like and stuff like that. I remember learning like 360 dive rolls with Scott. Like Scott was really good teacher for like
What do you think it is about Scott that like, was it that he like, because I feel like if I tried to teach parkour and there was a kid who wanted to do flips, I would struggle. I'd be like, nah, like parkour's the cool thing to do, like, and I'd almost probably force them too hard into like trying to learn the foundation movement. Does he just make you respect it? But like,
well, he really makes you respect the fundamentals. But like, I remember like you'd be at his class and he'd do like this parkour move, and you'd be like, oh my gosh, that looked so cool. And, it would just make you respect it a lot more and like make you want to learn it. And he would also like do a lot of games with you where you'd like get to like learn it as throughout like a game. I remember like one lesson, literally the whole lesson was we had to put blindfolds on, and then we had like this parkour course, and we all had to like hold hands with like the whole group, and we had to like get from one end to the other without touching the floor and stuff like that, and like blindfolded. And it like meant you like did a lot of these like parkour moves and like helped each other. Yeah. So a lot of things that you wouldn't really necessarily think of, but just like
but you enjoy the process.
Enabled, it made you enjoy the process and like made you really enjoy and respect parkour. But at the same time, I think he had like kind of a gymnastics background.
Yeah.
Oh no, trampolining. Yeah. Because it's funny actually, because my history teacher is also a trampolinist. Like he taught trampolining at the school, and when I said that I had like a parkour background, he was like, wow, how do you know these flips and stuff? I said I know the parkour background. And he asked me, do I know Scott Jackson? He competed against Scott Jackson.
Oh, really? Oh, that's crazy.
So my like history teacher knew him and stuff like that.
Arch enemies.
That's sick. Crazy.
So talking about your style, I feel like, I mean, I've known you for 5-6 years now, maybe. Maybe
4 or 5.
Maybe no. I don't know when I first became aware of you, but I feel like you have maintained a fairly consistent style. Obviously, you were into flips as a kid, but then like you've always done kind of, I'd say, high level parkour mixed with.
It'd be like a burst almost. Like if you kind of, it's a burst of stuff. Also, you can very much tell by your style if you were to create a silhouette of yourself in a video, you'd be able to tell it's you. Do you know what I mean? Like if it was just a black image without seeing your face, you'd know, because all of your like flips are kind of like Luke Stone style, and also like 360 strides. If anyone else tries a 360 stride, they're not going to look quite
I mean that's something I was going to go on to, which I think is a topic in itself. But like have you just like found your style of movement, and you kind of like, I mean, take Keelan for example. He got injured and now he's like essentially found this new way of moving that was, you did a little bit of moving like that a few years ago, but like you've really thrown yourself into like a new style. You've like got the Luke Stone style, and it's like you've basically just leveled that up constantly. And if in my head it's like big running prees, confident strides, gainers, obviously 360 strides, rudies. Like you're probably not what I would consider the most like creative athlete, but you take foundation movements, make them
so much harder,
and you adapt them in a creative way to the environment, but you don't do like, I'd say you rely on the foundation level stuff, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, like I think I've always just done movement that I like enjoy doing. Like I said, like with the flips and stuff, I always loved flips as a kid, and I always like I think I always just wanted to make like an impact, so like doing kind of like bigger stuff was kind of where I wanted to go. I don't have that style of like Keelan, and I could say like Mark Bush, like has that like flow and like minimal movement, but they still have that like difficulty to it. I never really like found that very fascinating.
It's like, okay, I've worked it out. So everything you do in a line like has a name. It has like it's that whereas like sense, someone like Mark or Keelan might do something and you're like, well, he did this here, like he did a Kong Pre here and he did this here, but he kind of did this weird spinny kicky twisty thing here, whereas for you take you take all the things that are named and just do them fucking well combined. Like
I feel like you've also kept loads of stuff that you used to do as a kid. Like you always used to do like gainer stalls and stuff. No one did gainer and stall it just before, but now you make it look fucking cool. Like
and
but
Rudies,
I feel like
Rudies as well.
Rudies. Like you've always done Rudies. Like,
but like gainer stalls, if you look at kids doing them, you look at it and you're like, oh, that's like not lame, but it's, do you know what I mean? It's kind of like what people do and they think it's cool to stall it, but you do it like fucking like a
proper stool.
Like you can add it into a run. Like whenever you do a gainer, you wouldn't do a normal gainer, you'd have a little kick. Same with your double kongs actually. You notice that you do a double kong and you do like a kick in the middle, which also I don't know, stretches out your body in a bit.
Like I think Scott's definitely taught me the double kong one.
Do you think?
Yeah, like he always made it like, I remember Scott's double kongs, they always kick out very like predominantly and like makes it very obvious.
Looks
and like
so much
I always
nicer,
just love that, like
that was the old school. I remember like UF tutorials, and it was like you had to put emphasis on the kick in the middle. Like you did the first, and then you had to basically
so your body stretches out, right?
I think it's like higher the kick, the more,
because you got
like,
people
cool
like they took photos and they do it essentially looked like they were doing a handstand like halfway through. Yeah.
Otherwise, it just looks like a lame tuck, doesn't it?
But yeah, I think also with like doing like the big jumps and like doing big double kongs or like sketchy things, I've always loved like I love a lot of other extreme sports like mountain biking or like just jumping on trampoline. I love like adrenaline. I feel like adrenaline's very like key to my like parkour and freerunning, and I just love that like feeling of like doing something really
like,
cool, and it
hard
just
and-
feels
yeah.
like I get a load of like bursts of adrenaline. Like I love that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to talk about 360 pre's, 360 strides and things, but this has just made me think of something else that you, especially when filming, like, because obviously if you're just training and you want to do a line, you do the line. When filming with you, you get yourself into a headspace and then you want to do it like immediately. Like, not immediately, but like once you are ready, you're like, there's no waiting. And it varies from athlete to athlete. Some people are like, yeah, I think I'm ready. And the cameraman's like, oh, sorry, I've just got to like sort this out and things. And they're like, yeah, cool. And for you, and it was someone else I was with quite recently actually who was similar. And it's like,
Mark's is pretty similar.
Danny Lebecca, he was like it on that job we did.
Oh, really?
He was saying to Scott, he was like, I'm in the headspace now. I want to go now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Mark's is similar as well. Like,
Yeah.
is that kind of thing that you're riding on, like, not the buzz, but like
You
I think
kind of
no.
zoned
I think
into.
the thing for me is like when I want to go for a trick, it's like I want to do it now. I feel ready for it now.
You've got
the camera kind of puts you off.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you don't
yeah,
want
yeah.
to make it put you off more if you're waiting for a battery to be like.
You just
charged.
want to
Or,
go
like,
when you feel right.
I feel ready. I want to go now.
Yeah.
Like if I'm stalling it, then I'm like I feel unnatural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's almost like your prep doesn't sort of make sense.
I get
when you've like
sweaty sometimes. Filming
Yeah,
you.
you know, like when you did the double Kong IMAX down.
Yeah.
Like, say if you'd have to wait for that, you'd probably have to go and do another dive Kong or something. I didn't.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
waited too long, and you're like,
I'm in the
I'm
headspace
out.
now
Yeah.
to go and do it. Like I know
Yeah.
what I'm gonna do, so I literally just want to be able to like stand there, think about it, and say yep, and then not have to wait 5 minutes for a camera. Like
Yeah,
a battery
no,
to
not
be
even
changed.
5 minutes, like
Yeah.
30 seconds. Like,
Yeah,
you-
even that, it just I think it just puts me off.
I
And
definitely understand.
I
that,
feel
though,
like I've
especially
learned
if it's
that.
scary.
I feel like I'm quite good with you now. I think as a cameraman, you can't necessarily be prepared for everything, but I feel like I'm aware of like how you like to work, so I try to adhere to that.
Yeah.
Johnston, I've noticed, will be like right before you're about it, like, and I can see you're in the fucking zone. There was something. Where was it? We were filming for Soul
What
Destroyer.
Johnson like had to be like, oh no,
We
wait.
were like filming
Oh,
for
I
Soul
think
Destroyer.
I think
and
it's
you-
Soul Destroyer. I think I remember one of the ones on Soul
can't remember
Destroyer.
what it was.
I think Johnston stalled it so much. I was like,
Yeah, and you were ready, and I was like, and Johnson was like stalling it because like something had gone. I don't know. He needed to like fit. He was like, oh, I'll just check the aperture or something, and I was like, fucking Johnston, no, like,
Yeah.
because I know that it just sets it back 10 minutes.
yeah. I think
like,
one of the worst things is if they're like they need to do something, it's fine. But if they just like be very slow about it, like if they need to go change a battery, they're not like running over to their bag to
Yeah,
grab a battery.
yeah,
They're just like
Walk
strolling
over
over and like having a look, and like they're not really bothered. That
Yeah.
also really like
what- you
pisses
know,
me off.
Not to shit on Johnston, what pisses me off is the fact that he doesn't format his memory cards, and the amount of times I've been on shoots with him, and he'll be filming, and you'll be prepping, and then just before you're about to go, he'll go, my card's filled up. And he's trying to like delete clips on the memory
but
card.
what's the reason
from a job he did 3 weeks ago in Sweden that he's already back? And I'm like, Johnston, what the fuck? Like, if you're a cameraman, just drop your footage every night and then format your cards, and then you don't run into these fucking errors, and carry an extra battery in your pocket. Like,
Or at least like
at the end of the day, the athlete is the fucking reason you are filming. Like,
It's the same with skating though. They have to always like.
yeah.
The skater is the.
And skating's way more like trial and error. Like,
Well,
it's
yeah.
way more
If
like,
imagine if they like missed the
Missed
trick
it,
because
yeah,
they're like,
yeah.
oh, camera died. Can you do it? They can't say like, can you do it again? So like, I
1,000
feel like
more
with
attempts,
yeah,
yeah.
I feel like with parkour, you have to treat it the same way. You have to make sure you've got the shots prepped way before.
Yeah.
And everything else, like any fucking anomaly, checked. But
And
yeah.
you like silence as well, which I always struggle with, because like
Yeah.
Keelan will be doing a line and there'll be people laughing in the background and he's kind of okay with it, but I know how you like it.
yeah, I think that's just like getting into the
That's just how you like it.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and I've seen this for years now, whenever you prep a line, everyone else acts up twice as much. And I'm like, guys, why are you fucking screaming now? And like Keelan and Max will be spitting on each other. And I'm like, Luke's like could die in a second. And he's like, just give him. And Keelan's like, like,
I feel like over the time I've like got to like manage that.
I immediately,
I've,
I feel
like-
so, there's been so many times I look at the situation and I'm like, fuck's sake, poor Luke.
I feel like I've like learned to manage it. Like I know that's happening in the background and I can like block it out.
Yeah. Oh, it was
It
that
is
guy on the
horrible,
balcony on the phone. That was so awkward.
Oh yeah, that was annoying.
Oh.
I actually asked him to
I know.
hang up the call.
And you did it in such a savage way. I was like, Luke, just ask him if he could like tone it down. And there's basically Luke was prepping for this running pre that was like fucking terrifying. And there's this like, I don't know, Jamaican guy on the balcony having the loudest phone call in the world. He's like, hey, like so loud. and Luke was getting really distracted, and I was like, Luke, just ask him if he can like just tone it down or maybe go inside for a minute. And Luke just like straight up looks at him and goes, mate, can you just put the phone down?
I wasn't there for that. Charles has told me that story before.
I must have just been in the zone so much.
Yeah, but when you're in the zone, you
said it in such a like blunt way, and there was this moment of like the guy kind of went like, and just like put the phone down, and it was so awkward. But yeah, I feel
I think I did explain to him. I was like, I just need to get into like the headspace to be able to do it, because it's not like he was just there by himself. Like he was out there like watching me.
Yeah. Having like, the loudest phone.
Oh, he was actually watching you do it.
Yeah, he was out there on the balcony like to watch me, and I was like, it's like, if you want to watch me, like please be respectful of like what I'm about to do.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I'm going out later tonight. There's this guy fucking jumping off this roof in front of me. He might die. And Luke's like, help. Wow.
But yeah.
You like that the running pre? And
and the worst thing was it was like when I was about to go for to do it, like he hadn't been on the phone, and then like he just got this call, and then like I was like in the moment about to do it, and I was like, oh, you're just ruining it, like
a fun one.
It's crazy how different minds work, because I feel like I can't even hear anything when I'm trying to do stuff. I know exactly what you mean with other situations. Fuck that, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes I think about, because I mean, I never train at like a death-defying level, but like, even at that like jam, and because we just came back from an event in Belgium. Keelan didn't come, unfortunately, but me, Luke, and Max, the what was it, Hall 5 swings and other things.
Yeah.
And I was kind of just sometimes like paying attention to like, if I was that fucking 180 line I did a billion times, I'd like be subconsciously paying attention to what I'm getting distracted by, and sometimes it's dumb shit that I shouldn't be distracted by, and it was almost like looking for an excuse to like take an extra second to prep in my head. I'd be like, oh, maybe that guy's going to walk in front of me, and I think that's because I'm like,
when you go most of the time,
when you go, everything doesn't exist. Like,
it's strange. But with scary shit, you always have to make sure you have that headspace right.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter who you are.
So I would say that you have the best. I mean, I'm not even doubting it. You have the best 360 strides in the world in parkour.
I think because who would have done it before you as well?
No one.
Yeah, but maybe someone did it over like, I don't know, 2 human feet, not as in feet. You know, like how free runners measure a pre. Like maybe a 2 human foot gap. Just as a joke.
I think Jesse definitely did it before me. It was like almost different.
I've seen Jesse 360 stride IMAX 2. He did the running. He went off the rail, like the strides across IMAX.
Mm-hmm.
He went rail to the wall, and then he did 360 out. But he's never had like the style that you do with yours. Like you are a fucking.
Yours is very. And also you can really see how you're.
The spotting,
like your whole body goes straight and there's no off axis. You know, like when he's like completely straight.
There's someone else recently who's got
Makesh.
Yeah, he's got really good ones.
But also he's been putting so much good content out.
Yeah, he's been traveling like Europe recently. He's in Barcelona next week.
Is he from
Czech Republic? I think.
Yeah. Did we meet him when we went to that gym?
I think so. He's part of one team which I can't remember the name of. It's like Stunt.
It's
2020 or something.
And he always wears the jersey, doesn't he? Like
and he's also an InMotion sponsor.
Yeah, InMotion's Czech. He's got sick ones, but I think
But if you think
his are probably like the closest.
I would assume you're probably his inspiration there, because I mean you've had those on lock for a couple of years now, and like he's definitely kind of got that similar style. It's my laptop just. No. Max is sitting in the corner of the room making noise. Wants to be part of the cool chat.
What made you do 360 strides in the first place? Because they're quite a simple move. I think to take them.
Did you start with 360 pre's? Because that's
no. I think it goes back all to the. I said like the playground days.
Yeah.
I used to do these. Like me and my friends used to like see how fast we could twist like on the ground.
Yeah.
And like we would just do like 360 standing, and like 360 standing were like easy.
Yeah.
But then we'd do like 720s and stuff 900. Like that, and like we'd just see how many twists we could do. And I used to just like practice that like loads.
I had a mate who could do like 900 and just.
I wonder if it goes like all the way back to that.
Probably.
Just like doing.
Because I guess if you get comfortable with that.
Yeah, just doing. If you do that a lot, you just like learn to do it on one spot and like not angle yourself as well.
Yeah.
And then I remember doing a lot. I've always done a lot of like twisting stuff. I had like a garden trampoline for like from when I was like 12. Well, I had it maybe before I was 12, but...
And you still got it now.
That's when you started using it properly.
I've still got it now.
I've seen some of the horrible bails that you've posted on Facebook, some horrible bails.
Oh, that tramp... I've like, I think... like when somebody says like you need to get the use out of that, I've definitely overused that trampoline.
More holes than trampoline.
Yeah,
how you managed
the amount of
to do
time
that.
I spent on that, like I definitely got the money's worth.
Wait, hold up. You told a story the other day about the spring pinging off and hitting you in the eye.
Oh yeah, so if you saw my story the other day, some kid got a spring impaled in the into his back.
Oh Jesus! Yeah,
like
They were G-tramping.
basically the story
Is that
was
Yeah, there were like multiple kids on the trampoline.
yeah
right?
the story was that like he'd gone around a friend's house and hit multiple friends like jumped on the trampoline at the same time, which like you're not supposed to do, and like which meant the spring extended and popped out and flew into his back and impaled him. And like yeah, when I was younger, I have like a picture of it as well. I was jumping on the trampoline, and what I'd done is like I remember watching YouTube tutorials like how to make your trampoline bouncier. Like I always wanted to
Did you cross the springs?
yeah, I'd done that, but it wasn't that. Yeah, so I like looked up loads of tutorials how to make it bouncier, and like there was different ways. Like one was cross the springs, and the other one was like take out every other spring.
Yeah.
And when you took out every other spring, it meant the trampoline bed went down more, but it meant the spring extended more.
Oh, okay.
And I remember one time I was bouncing on the trampoline, and I accidentally landed right where one of the springs was, like on the very edge of the bed. And it meant the spring extended and popped out, and it hit me in the face, and I had like a black eye, and I had this like cuts in my eyebrow.
Jesus.
And like I remember I've got a picture of it. I've seen it recently.
We missed out on pirate stones.
Yeah, but like if it would have hit me in the eye, I wonder if I'd been blind.
Yeah.
Probably
Because
would've- it would've gone
it just
into
hit
your eye.
it just hit the top of my like eyebrow. Like
If it was hard enough to fuck up your eye that much, probably. Like, if
Yeah,
it just
like,
popped your eyeball.
that could have legit made me blind, like
Yeah.
properly.
That's ridiculous. In a parallel universe somewhere else.
Yeah,
you're
just someone's just...
eye patched and you're still trying to do 360 pre's.
I mean, technically
Yeah.
in a parallel universe, everything's happening, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly.
But yeah, like twisting on my trampoline, I used to do loads of like double falls, Rudies,
Yeah.
and I think always like twisting it's been like meant to done straight, not like
Yeah.
angled.
Yeah, actually, every twist you do, like, you're definitely not a cheater when it comes to, like, back falls, corks, stuff like that. You're very much...
Yeah,
you've got
definitely over the hip, like the hips are in the air.
Yeah,
like, you're not doing
yeah.
anything wrong. I also saw you do a while ago. For some reason, I always remember this. You did like a 540 stride over like a roof gap. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. Like it almost looks too.
Didn't you do
much.
one at air whip as well?
Like,
on the jam, 540 to back fall.
But that was to pre, right?
To pre, yeah.
Yeah,
But there's like
yeah,
to
yeah. You did a
stride.
stride,
You
which
can
is
like
great.
do it
Oh,
this
yeah,
weird way.
wait,
I hit
that
my
way.
knee afterwards.
Yeah,
No,
it was
wait.
like
How do you 540 and surely you're running out backwards?
You don't. So with the 360 stride, you ghost step it. With the 540 stride, you land on the other leg, and then you kind of
Like a
you're
normal stride.
you're reversed, but you stride, and then like as you land, you twist.
yeah.
it looks
okay.
like a side. You know when people side flip and hyper it, so they land
Yeah,
on the
so
leg?
you could twist
It
that
actually
and then
looks
pop it
fucking
into
cool.
a gainer with that extra leg.
I don't think anyone else would have been able to make that look cool.
Yeah, and like I did
Bring
the
them
seven.
back.
I did the seven. I
Bring
did the
it back.
standing 720 pre earlier this year, and like from that, I've been wanting to do like find a place where you can do 720 stride.
It's so weird because I remember when like 360 pre's were first kind of just like random people would do them occasionally, and they do very, very small ones. And I mean, I guess this was just because I was around kind of, it's my age, I guess. Like, I just look at them and be like, that's pointless. I'd be like,
Yeah.
it's like, why not just do a bigger pre?
Yeah, but
now-
people have got them to a level.
Yeah,
where it's-
now, like, the my favourite 360 stride you've ever done is the one in Malta. And some guys went there, like, earlier this year, the one in
What one?
the drone parkour,
yeah, I know the one.
where it's like, he takes off a lip on both sides. Drone
And then,
parkour.
I did the running pre's afterwards, and then the really long line.
Oh,
That-
wow, how did
the
I forget
rooftop,
that
yeah.
one? That is
and
ridiculous.
some guys went there and they like sent me an Instagram story and they were like, "What the fuck?" They were like, "This is a scary roof jump." Like, and it's, I mean, I'd probably roof jump it, but it's like you're taking off a
Yeah, but I strided
Yeah.
it for a video. Like, as in, I put an Instagram video of me up just doing the normal stride because
Yeah,
I found
yeah.
it scary.
The worst thing about that one was how thin it was.
It was lip,
Yeah,
to,
and
lip
slanted.
to lip of
It
a
was
slightly slanted wall,
slanted like that.
a story and a bit up, like, and a big, not fucking small. You couldn't standing pre it. Like,
No.
it's fucking so sick.
Yeah. And you're that comfy with them now then. So, like, was there a stage where you felt like you were getting more comfy with them, or have you just...
Well, yeah,
always
just
felt-
doing them repeatedly, like just practicing them doing them like where I can, like where I find a nice one.
Yeah.
But, like now it has to be like a nice one. Like I go to jams and people are like, oh, can you show me a 360 stride?
Well, it's like George with double sides. Like it's got to be right.
Yeah.
It's like
you can't like kind of.
I can't just like cop out and do one like every
All the
every
time,
gap that
you
I
can't
can
make
find.
it boring.
I always like it when you do like, I guess you don't compete in style that often anymore, but like when you do like do a style run, you'll normally try and incorporate one because it's an instant asset. Like, Max, what are you doing, mate? Max is trying to.
No, it's fine.
He's trying to show us Instagram videos.
He's trying to show us the.
Oh, it's Luke.
Stride.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. All right, this is Max. Max is. Oh, yeah, that's sick.
Oh, he's showing this.
He's like I don't watch the Joe Rogan show or listen to it, but I know there's some guy called Jamie who like looks up anytime they come up with something, he'll like fact check it, and they're like, "Hey, Jamie, check that out for us." That's Max. Like, "Hey, Max, pull that up for us. Load that up." But
I think in the future I want to. I've been like trying to find a nice one to rail because like I've done them to rails before, but like haven't really found like a nice one to post
to stride or
like striding them on rails.
Because I remember Air Whip one year, you were like, if I get through, I'll do 360
stride to the rail.
Stride to the rail.
If I got through to the final.
Yeah.
I was looking at that.
That would be fucking sick.
Damn, I wish I would have seen that.
Damn.
Because like, realistically, the one in Malta, because of those thin takeoffs.
I mean, not far off.
Yeah.
Like, and also you were going thin to thin. If that had been flat to thin, you're basically like that. Because that's what Air Whip was. That would be like a rail. Like,
the one in Air Whip was just a bit bigger.
I do not doubt that you would. Do you not doubt? Double negative. If there was the right setup and it was to a rail, I wouldn't feel nervous. I don't think because you're so good at spotting it. Like worst case scenario, it would just be like a normal stride to a rail for you.
And you could do. I think maybe prep it to 2 feet first.
Exactly. Then, yeah.
Or like I think yeah.
I like it when sort of there's certain people in Motus and also out of Motus that I like. Who suggest certain things, and I'm just like, you know this better than anyone else in the world. Like there's probably no one else in the world who knows 360 strides better than Luke.
Yeah.
So it's like, if he is confident to do that, it's like, well, yeah.
Talking about like doing stuff to rails, right?
Wait, before we do this, like I always think like it's weird how in parkour a lot of like athletes have their niche.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you say, you think I'm like I have the niche of 360 strides.
Yeah.
Keelan, he had the niche of A twist clears.
Yeah.
But now he has like the niche of flow.
Yeah.
Almost. Max has the niche of like side flip prees.
Yeah. I think I mean people like Max, I wouldn't say you are more like standout on 360 strides than he is with side flip prees. Like I mean Max is exceptional at them.
I think when Max first was doing the side flip prees,
he was the guy. No one had
ever
seen that before.
Yeah. He kind of made that viral.
Oh, almost. For sure. Yeah. Like it was the one in the Origins video, and then the one to the rail just like solidified.
Yeah, well,
this is the thing that
the one in the Origins video was way before its time.
Yeah.
He like
and
that's so fucked up how he landed as well.
I feel like we all got excited, but none of us really appreciated it. For how
like I don't think we realized where it was going to go from there.
Because now people do landings like that, but still,
it's
I
not
would say
at that level.
The majority still,
it's not a standing free. It's fucking massive,
and the majority still do them to like a curb.
The thing is, like Max did that one, and it's to a wall, and it's still thin and it's large, but like people got like people were like, whoa. That is groundbreaking. But now people are doing them to rails like it's casual. Like, all day.
See, that's the difference, because there's so many people who are now doing them to rails, but then you can't. There's no comparison with you and doing 360 strides because there isn't anyone else.
Basically that
there
one
isn't
guy.
anyone else. There's the one guy.
I just think not enough people are trying them, and like
you've made
people try them, and then they feel like they can't do them and they just give up.
Well, I think because a lot of people can side flip, like the majority can side flip, and therefore they can side flip and they can land on the same piece of ground and they can go, yeah, okay, I can get it, and then they land on the same like block on the floor. But I've tried 360 prees, standing and running, and your first attempt, if you've never done them before, is generally like, was I drunk? Like, what the fuck just happened?
you always end up like way off axis.
Yeah,
like you go straight.
I remember I got invited to go to Italy to do like I was like a part of a jam and like a workshop.
Oh, you were like coaching, right?
Yeah, and like they kind of like asked me, and it was kind of obvious that they wanted me to like do a little bit on 360 strides.
Yeah,
and I kind of tried to do this workshop where I started off doing like standing prees and like standing 360s and then build it up to the 360 strides. And they kind of all got the standing 360s, and as soon as I like tried to step up to the 360 strides, there was like bails happening left, right, and centre, and I was like, oh, like.
I think the barrier for entry is like just way harder. Like you've got to persist through that. You've got to get through that moment, or not moment, like that period of essentially disorientation.
I think you just really need to learn how to spin.
Yeah,
and I think definitely.
I guess it's spinning as spotting is part of that, right?
I think to start with, you really need to just learn 360 prees. I think before I tried any 360 stride, I was doing a lot of 360 prees, a lot of like standing 360 prees, and like really understanding that movement. And then, like doing the 360 stride, it's like a next step, and I think a lot of people try them and expect to get them like the first session, but I think it just takes a lot of it's something that takes a lot of practice and like really a lot of thought behind the spin, like a lot of practice, and
whereas you can
knowing how to
you can land a side flip every time, you just and then you can dial that in, whereas that first 360 you do, you're not even thinking about trying to be accurate with your feet. You're just like, fuck, I hope I actually going in the right direction.
I got that in a 360.
Yeah. So
we were saying about doing 360 strides to a rail, right? But like, I was wondering how comfortable you feel now after you did a gainer off a rail and bailed.
I think
because I was surprised when I was seeing you prepping before you bailed, right? You were just running and doing gainers off a rail just to the floor. That scares the shit out of me. Like I would in my life, I don't want to do a running gainer off a rail because it just sketches me out. Do you think you'd want to go back to doing that? Or do you think
tricks off rails?
Just would you run and gainer off a rail? Not would you run and gainer off a rail?
I feel like if my shoulder was okay, I could run and gainer off a rail like.
And you don't think you'd
today,
get sketched out by it?
I'd probably be a bit scared, but like I could probably get past it and like do one and then just be like, because I think most people, I think what I take from like the bail was that it was kind of like an unfortunate thing that didn't necessarily mean like my skills were bad.
Not at all.
Yeah,
the amount of preps that obviously people will see when we release like the full video.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many times, because you were doing that gainer off the rail for so long.
I rewatched
before we took the mat away.
There's so many really nice attempts of just with you with the mat on it as well.
Because we were filming other lines and like you were just working on it, and then it was like, oh, now you take the mat away.
Yeah, it was so chill.
Do you reckon if I had landed like in the position on the mat, then I would have just been like, oh no, can't do it.
Probably, yeah.
I feel like
I reckon it would have been, because I think it was the moment in the air where you're upside down of like essentially glitch that I think if you landed even on the mat.
Do you think if you committed and went round, you'd be like?
I don't think. I think once you hit that moment, even that momentary stall, I think then
you can't choose. You can't make a decision because I swear it didn't, because you hit your head. Do you even remember being in the air?
I remember being in the air, yeah.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people have asked me, like, are you concussed from it? I don't feel like I got any concussion from it.
Nah, well, you were concussed, but unless you have, like, a severe concussion. Because you had, you did not know how long you'd been kind of in that state for, like, a couple of minutes.
Yeah, you were asking loads of questions.
Well, I think I was just kind of unconscious at that point.
Exactly.
Like,
you were, like, wacky.
Really just... Yeah.
But your brain, like, essentially fills in the gaps. But if, you're like, Oh, Max is getting kicked out. I might just throw him out the window. He's like, it's a cough. But I think unless you have a serious brain injury, like, you don't, then you'd have a hole, but you don't have a hole, I don't think.
Okay, can we talk about something that you kind of you mentioned it on the last podcast, that you felt like you knew something was happening?
Yeah.
Okay, so me and Max, like, we
you listened to this in the car journey up.
We were like, okay, so that day, okay.
Oh, you told me this too.
Yeah,
this is really interesting.
Okay, that day.
Yeah.
I remember, like, before we went to the parkour park to train, we basically had lunch in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
And the plan was to go from the cafeteria straight to the parkour park to, like, train and get some lines for the video.
And you went back to the thing, didn't you?
Yeah. So I remember, like, it's because I was wearing my wrong shoes.
Yeah.
I went back to the barn where we were staying to get my parkour shoes, and I didn't just like grab my parkour shoes and like run up to the park. I like kind of like I remember like I sat there for a while and I was like checking my phone, like, just because there's Wi-Fi there and stuff. And like I remember like sitting there looking in the mirror, and like I was thinking, like, I was looking at myself like, imagine if this is the day where I like have a horrendous bail and like break a bone or like end my parkour career, like, because it can happen. Like,
yeah.
I sometimes think about that, like just
going in the car. Sometimes I'm like, if I have to drive somewhere for like a long period of time, and I'll be like, I don't know, it's always in the shower, I think, but I'll be like, oh man.
Just sometimes you just think of like the worst thing that can happen.
You're like, oh, I could die in a car accident later today. Like there's nothing.
Yeah. Okay, so I went up to the parkour park.
Yeah.
And okay, I it kind of like left my mind then, but I did the first line. Landed it, and then I said that I wanted to do it again, and then actually when I was standing before to do the second line, I kind of had this thought into my head like, this could be the one where I bail. So we wonder if like that's kind of the reason why
there
it
is
happened.
this whole
I swear
thing
you said that you missed out about the heart rate as well. You said the heart rate was way higher on that day. Remember?
Oh yeah. Oh, that is weird
really
as well.
That was a creepy bit.
So like I have this app on my phone which records my sleep.
Yeah.
And in the morning, every time you wake up, you like swipe up to like stop it recording.
Yeah.
And it like records your heart rate. And
okay.
the other day, I was just like, I was just curious.
When your heart rate was high.
My heart rate was so much higher on that day. I think like every other day, my resting heartbeat's usually like 36, and on that day it was like 60 in the morning.
That's so weird. I mean, there is this whole thing of manifestation, like, and it's, I mean, I'm kind of I wouldn't say I'm a believer in some like weird religious sense, but I'm a believer in the sense that like, if you want something bad enough, you can make it happen. But there are people who out there who believe that like you can manifest stuff into, and therefore thinking about it like, it's fucked.
Well, what Max was saying, that he said it was like almost energy, like because he said like everybody kind of felt this energy if something was wrong.
Yeah, I mean, because that's another theory, is that
Max
there is
said,
like vibration in the world. Like, yeah.
Max said like while he was watching, he felt this like wrong energy that like something bad was going to happen.
I could 100% feel it from the top. It's just because you'd already done it. You'd already done the best from us. What we were seeing, obviously there was nothing wrong with it. So we were like, oh, we've seen the best that can happen, and now all we're expecting is the worst.
It's because I think like, with a movement like that, it is so easy to see the worst possible scenario. Like, I don't know, if you're Max 2 years prior was doing the rail strides across, and the worst case scenario is probably not even that he misses the rail, because then he'd shin and he'd go over forwards. But if he toesied it in the same way, he'd probably get thrown up and forwards. But at least he's spotting the ground. Like, if a 9-foot height drop to your head, at least he's spotting the ground and he can kind of break fall it. But when Luke suggests a stride gainer off a rail, and it's almost worse that the rails are not that far apart, I feel, because like, I don't know,
and they're so thin.
Yeah, and they're so thin that when Luke suggests that, and when you see him prepping it, everyone, even a fucking muggle, can see the absolute worst case scenario. So it's like there's so much potential, and then you did it so well. And fucking hell, the relief through everyone when you did it.
That's why I was saying the difference of relief, and then no one was ready for you to say that you wanted to go again.
Yeah, it was so like
no
very
one could make their mind up quick enough, and that's why everyone was like thinking, I think, bad thoughts. Because
and I think also like,
oh, shit, what am I meant to feel now? Like, am I meant to feel relieved or like?
I think everyone is very much in the mindset of like, and this is across the board with all athletes, like, the athlete says the final call. Like, if you were prepping whatever in London or America and you were like, I don't want to do this, it would be like, he's made the final call, you don't, like, nobody pressures him. Like, nobody walks up and goes, are you sure? And therefore, because you made the final call of like, I want to go again, nobody really feels like it's their right to be like, Luke, no. Like, you don't. I mean, if you were getting bodied time and time again,
then we'd be allowed to be like, no.
Then you'd step in and be like, hey, stop, you're hurting yourself. But like, you did it perfectly, but you wanted it better for yourself. It's like,
well, in my opinion, it wasn't like perfect, because like I remember doing it, and like I was happy with it, and I was like, I just knew that I could get one nicer. Like, I felt like I could do it like one nicer. Like, I think it was the thing of like, on the time where I landed it,
there was a slight stall, right?
Like, well, no, it was like, I took off my arches and I wanted to get like a nice toe takeoff, and I wondered like, if I could do a nice toe to takeoff, could I stall it as well? And then but like not even like really like a lot stall, just a little the kick out and then like land, because
kick,
because if you get a nice takeoff, it's like
it sets you up right.
The stall doesn't like make it a lot harder.
But do you not? So I mean, my theory is that because you were focusing more on your toes, you basically, sorry, my phone's just buzzing, but I need it for the show notes. You were essentially focusing like on doing a very toesy stride, which because you needed to kick up and out, you can see it, your leg jars. Right?
Yeah, it's like you can see my leg.
It kind of takes
jars.
too long to like react almost.
Yeah, and it means my leg doesn't like.
You don't activate
the thing, and then you don't see my hips go up either.
That's it. The hips, you don't go. You don't push forward.
And like once you're in that position in the air, like you can't.
You can't.
That's the worst thing about it. Like just being in the air and you just can't do anything about it. You just have to know. You just know you're gonna like have an impact.
And that was as of watching it. The worst thing is like there was a good. I mean, it's probably not even a second, but the time from you going like that to glitch and then falling was so long.
Yeah, and then I remember like. Because I like knocked out, I remember like opening my eyes and I was laid like turned around.
Yeah.
And I was so confused by that.
I watch it and I don't really
spaz out straight into a perfect lying down.
I don't really get how you turn so perfectly, but you somehow like
and like my legs were like sat over the edge and I was just laying down. And like,
did you think that someone had moved you or something?
Yeah, I was, and then like when in that point I was just like, oh, I can't do anything now. Like I've just got to like take this. Like I was like, oh.
It was your fingers, the T-Rex.
Yeah,
fingers,
they do this. If you watch your fingers, they do that. When you watch any skater or anything, I only compare it to skaters because they get fucking knocked out all the time. Their hands either do this, like it's Tyrannosaurus Rex kind of arms, and they go in, or they do that and they point. Yours did the same. They all clenched inwards and your fingers were pointing and you were like...
It's just like, I guess your brain is just firing and your nerves are like, what's going on? Like, help me.
Did it happen quickly? Like the time from when you took off, were you just suddenly on like...
I remember hitting and like, I felt the impact and then I just remember lying there and just like, Jesus, like, oh.
Yeah.
That was like
the thing I'm so glad about, because I mean, and me as like some serial fucking hypochondriac, anxious, blah, 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 is like... You, from my perspective, you basically weren't kind of quite there until the emergency people were there, like the Woodward stuff. Because my almost like worst fear is being like helpless and not having people around who are professionals.
Yeah.
Like who know what they're doing. Whereas like by the time you were probably conscious enough to start worrying almost, like they were already there because they were there so quick.
Yeah, I feel like whenever I'm in a bad situation, I just know like I have this weird thought of just like everything's going to be fine, like everything will work out, or like everything is meant to be how it will be.
Well, you can't change in that situation. You can't change it.
Yeah, it's not like I could just get up and like run.
Exactly. Whereas like, my anxious like head is like, it's the what if this happened, what's going to happen. But realistically, if I was in your shoes and I was like, oh, what if I bail? If I do bail, I can't fucking change that.
Yeah.
Like.
I was so impressed with the speed, so like you said last year.
Yeah,
I remember Eric Klein. He ran.
Yeah.
It was so quick.
Tommy and Eric just snapped like they were like, boom.
We said like maybe they felt the energy too, and like.
No, I think he meant last episode, right?
Yeah, last episode I meant. But like we were saying, like with the energy, do you reckon they knew too, and they literally just sprinted like straight away?
I think maybe also they don't have the personal attachment to stay around. Like they know Woodward better than us. Especially Eric, because he's a coach. He because I don't. All I would have done in that situation is been like, call Marlon because I have his number. Yeah, but that would have taken too long.
I guess I don't know if, because to me it felt like the first aid people came so quickly.
Within a minute and a half, I would say.
Like it
was quick, but you were like, when you were slightly unconscious, slightly coming to, you were kind of like, oh, how long have I been lying here, and how long did it take for them to get here? I'm confused.
Yeah,
well, you didn't understand how they were here already.
I think at that point I was just wondering if my perception of time was different to yours.
Yeah.
So when you told me like how long it took, I was like, okay, I'm still thinking like correctly.
Yeah. I would say a minute and a half around like about that, and they were fucking there. Which realistic, you hear people. I mean, Toby broke his collarbone in like Lisbon, and it was like half an hour or an hour or something.
And you remember Drew Taylor in
exactly, like
Bulgaria, where
and I guess that's just
they couldn't even get an ambulance to
Would have to deal with that.
Imagine
stuff every
if that
day.
was my head, like I'd be like, that would scare me. That would definitely scare me,
because the fact that when we went to the hospital and he was like, you could just start having a brain bleed any minute, Like the fact that they were there, and I mean, we were still half an hour, 40 minutes away from the hospital, but at least there were people there who fucking knew what they were doing. Like,
like when they were like, they like jumped up on the block and they were like feeling my neck and stuff.
Yeah.
That really scared me because I like knew I'd just like landed on my head and I was thinking like, oh crap, like,
you didn't
this
even
could
think about
be.
your
but
neck,
there was this weird moment.
That was when
I
I first like started thinking like I could have a neck. Like,
it was when there was a very brief period of time where you weren't sure about like how well you could feel your feet.
Yeah, you were saying
just for a very brief period of time, and then you were like, no, I can feel that. And there was this fucking thing where I think you were like, I think so, and I could see the like, not the fear, well, I guess the fear in their eyes, because obviously if you can't feel your feet, then there's like
spinal,
exactly, like a nerve, whatever.
Scary.
And then like after a couple of seconds, you were like, no, I can feel that, and it was like, oh fuck, like, that was because that, I mean, that goes from like, even if you had a brain bleed, and I mean Corbin had a horrible accident but now he's absolutely fine, but like if you had actually broken your spine and it was like, oh, I've got to ring Luke's mum and tell him that he can't move his legs for the rest of his life, like,
that's horrible.
yeah,
that is fucked up.
And now everyone's bailing, everyone's having fucking head injuries.
how
what
weird
is
is
that?
it?
What is that?
Is it just some like curse that's coming?
Morgan, who else?
There has been a couple.
There's been a few more. Like, it's weird.
Yeah. It's the energy. It's the curse. The parkour
some
curse.
sort of energy is happening, which is really weird.
So weird. I mean, the worst thing is that it is inevitable that someone will die that we know who does parkour. Mm-hmm. Inevitable, because it happens in skateboarding. Even if it's not someone we know, like close, it's someone that we have
know
met.
Of.
Know of, like seen them at jams. And I mean, people have died in the parkour community in the time period that I've been around, like,
but not of like specifically parkour.
Specifically parkour, like, but it's, I mean, descents are the big one, because a mistake at height is it, but also it's a head injury.
I feel like I'm not one of the people that's kind of gone towards a lot of descents. Like, usually when people do them, I usually stay away from them, and like that's a big thing.
I love,
because I see the danger of it in that way.
I love the technique. Like, I was doing that one in Belgium, but you're dropping towards the floor and it's absolutely fine. Like, there's no real risk there. You break your leg, but you're not going to die. I love descents, but taking them to like the Joe Scandra height is fucking terrifying.
Oh, it is terrifying, because that's the type of level people go to commit suicide, to just jump off.
Yeah. I mean,
and you're technically just cheating.
It basically does the job. Like,
yeah.
I always think like, if I die because of parkour, then it's most likely going to be height related.
Yeah.
And I think doing descents is just going to risk.
Well, so this is the thing. I've always said to anyone who doubts parkour in terms of like, oh, isn't it dangerous? I'm like, we can only go as fast as we can run unless we are high. You can run into a wall full speed, and yes, if you tucked your head down and ran into a wall, you'd probably die. Yeah. Like, you could probably kill yourself running into a wall.
Yeah.
But your body,
like, running headbutt.
But your body is very, like, your brain will stop you doing that unless you're psychotic.
Yeah.
Skateboarding and BMX, you can build up a huge amount of speed, and at some point, ramps, exactly, downhill ramps, and at some point you can't stop that speed. You're on wheels, which are unpredictable. They can slide out from underneath you, etc., etc. Like, that's why you see way more dangerous injuries. The only way we can get fucking seriously hurt in parkour is if we are falling from height, basically. Like, the human body is very good at protecting itself at running speed, because we can only go as fast as we can run. And that, for a lot of people, like, you explain that and they're like, oh yeah, I get that now. Mm-hmm. But then you start doing descents and you're like,
exactly, and you don't really want to.
But I love descents. I think they're incredibly practical, and I think actually for more people to be comfortable, even just with the technique, is going to save lives. Like, imagine every single person in the world could just have a bit, not even descend, just have a bit of like control in that position.
Well, there's like that video
escaping from fires.
There's a video of that firefighter who does that. Like, technically it's the descent. He hangs on a balcony.
Yeah, and he
swings and kind of he lands on his bum, but he like swings in a balcony.
Yeah. Just having the control to be like, I'm hanging from my hands, I'm going to drop to my feet, I know where to place my chest, is going to save lives.
Yeah.
And I would never like say to anyone like, oh, don't do descents.
Exactly.
Luke is crawling across the room. Where's he going? He's getting a bottle of water.
Nice.
A very floral bottle of water.
It's because I lost my other chili bottle.
Chili?
That's what they're called, Chili's bottles. They're like insulated water bottles.
I like it.
I left my other one in Italy.
It.
In Italy. and apparently they've just broken it now. Like,
Well, because they can break the inside of it, right?
No, he just said like, I was like, well, can you mail it back to me? And then it was going to be like really expensive to mail it back. And I was actually going out to Italy, so I was like, can you meet me and like give it back to me? I really liked the water bottle because it had like a print of London on it.
Okay.
So like when I travelled, people like could know that I was from like London and stuff like that. I thought it was kind of cool.
Like,
my mum got it for me for Christmas as well.
Ah.
And yeah, apparently it was just like they'd been throwing it about and it just like dented and it just wasn't really worth having back. And my mum had this other one, but it's just floral. So I've started putting stickers on it to kind of cover it. But
what sticker is that?
This is the Witness.
That's Venture
Co.
Yeah, not Witness this. Yeah.
But yeah, I still like it's not like florally too much where it's like girl florally.
I personally have no problem with it. I think it's pretty cool.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
I think more people should.
They're really nice
that,
water
save
bottles.
the environment.
Yeah, and it saves so much money if you think about it. Like when you're traveling, instead of buying like a bottle of water every time, even though it's just like €1.
My issue with that is how do you clean inside it?
I don't really think it needs cleaning.
It's like just water, isn't it?
It's just water every time.
Yeah, but like a bit of gob.
I don't think it's really that. That's not going to cause like a viral infection, is it? Like
I don't know. Maybe it's because I had a see-through bottle for like 3 weeks when I was in America last year. When I went like Colorado, NAPC, and then Woodward. And
that's the problem with like plastic.
Yeah, very true. It was plastic, but I could see like on the inside, I was just like, ugh, and I kept wanting to like clean it. It was like backwash and just semen and whatever.
Well, if you wanted to clean it, just dishwasher.
True. Yeah.
Anyway, enough about dishwashers and bottles and stuff.
The thing about Chili's bottles, like if you put cold water in it, it will stay cool like forever.
How much are they paying you?
Not enough.
So, Lucas, what's your end goal? What's your aspirations for life right now? What are you thinking about for the future?
It's very weird because since hitting my head, I feel like I've had like a life change.
Yeah,
almost like it was very like a life-changing moment.
Did you see like a baby Luke walk up like, "Hey, Luke"?
I went to Heaven's Gates.
Yeah.
They turned me around.
You're not done yet, Luke.
Yeah, no, they were like, "Sorry, mate, you're not welcome here." Like,
yeah, no, but
basement level.
It's definitely made me a lot more like scared of parkour. And I was talking to Callum about this, and Callum said like after like kind of a big injury, like a lot of people get this.
Yeah.
And it's just like it will last a while, and it will take a while for you to get back into parkour, especially at the level like you were.
Because it's always going to be in the back of your mind. Like the next time you're like, I want to do a stool gainer, even if it's not off a rail, surely there's going to be this little like, oh, now I know what could go wrong.
I think it's not that. I think it's just the dangers of parkour and freerunning in general. Like, just you don't really realize how like possible it is until it happens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if it's never happened to you. Like you could say like, oh no, I'm just a safe athlete.
Yeah.
But what does that change for your aspirations? Like, do you want to kind of chill out as an athlete?
I feel like you never have been like, I am going to be a sole athlete. I'm an athlete is my only career. Like you've always been like media interested and stuff.
Well,
like that.
exactly.
I think like the last 2 years I've been like, especially like since getting out of college, I've like said to people and like said to myself that I'm a like professional athlete. Like I don't have many other jobs.
Yeah.
I do like kind of parkour coaching, but I don't do any other jobs.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I feel like since hitting my head, I just feel like I don't really want to call myself that anymore. I don't want to call myself an athlete. I feel like since I don't want to do like competitions really. I've been very put off by like competitions.
I mean,
like,
you've like
pushing
dabbled,
myself in that way.
Yeah, you've dabbled, but you've never like
You've done some cool stuff though.
Always wanted to do
You did that triple
competitions.
Kong and shit. Remember in Catalyst?
Yeah.
And I think that's almost like the benefit of smaller comps is that you can feel them out without being like, I want to be a competitive athlete. Like you can get an experience of the competition, and I mean you've done well. Like you've podiumed at competitions, but it's kind of been that testing ground, and you've been like, it's not
for me.
It's not what I want.
Yeah, like it's a bit of fun. You've pushed yourself, but it's not like your end goal.
I think what it is just that's not what I enjoy. That's not what parkour is for me.
Yeah.
And like I still enjoy it in the sense of going, watching, being with all my friends, like having an event.
Yeah.
But I think just being the athlete that competes is not really for me.
Yeah.
Sure, I understand that for sure.
And I think I think in all sports, like people like running, but not everyone wants to be fucking sprinting marathons, like
or like they'll do marathons, but they won't be like doing track and field.
There is a certain type of person who wants to be like, I want to be the fucking 0.1% and be the best.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a grueling space to be in. And I think as I mean, already, like, Max is a prime example. He's got his headphones in, but he's listening. I'm not talking to you, I'm talking about you. You fucking melt. I mean, he was podiuming competitions a couple of years ago in style, in like smaller leagues. But now if he went to NAPC and competed at style, he wouldn't have a chance. Because he hasn't, like, stayed in that headspace of, like, I want to win NAPC, I'm going to learn how to do triple falls.
Yeah, it's like, I think...
It's like, if you want to win, you've got to be...
A lot of the people that are winning the comps now are training, like, specifically for comps.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I definitely don't want to be training specifically for comps.
Taking up all your time just for that, I understand, because I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I think in terms of my training, like, going on, like, as soon as I'm, like, healed and, like, start training again, I just want to kind of experiment with parkour and, like, just, like, really get down to earth, like, what I enjoy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Getting back to training, like, my local area, I feel like I haven't trained properly in my local area in, like,
it sounds
months.
Exactly how I was
well, you've
feeling
travelled
after I
a bit,
did my
right?
Yeah.
Like,
that's so
I feel
weird.
like I always enjoy doing parkour more when I travel because it's like fresh spots.
Yeah.
For sure, but like I feel like I can still enjoy training at home, but like
For sure.
yeah.
I've got written down here, by the way, cycling across Asia, which you also did. Which
yeah, that'd be good to talk into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was less parkour, right? That was just I mean, you're kind of at that age where you're like, you finish college, you're traveling, like you want to see some bits, and you've been lucky to do that through parkour, but also like you did the cycling tour, and you're doing interrail.
Yeah, I think one of my biggest passions is traveling, like, and I think I found that through parkour. And that's definitely something I want to do for the rest of my life, or like for the coming years, for sure. Like,
I
definitely want to travel, and I just love going out to like new places, and especially like Asia was so cool because it was like a whole different
culture shock, right?
Whole different, like when like how like the continents are split up, it definitely is like a totally different culture. Like you can travel around Europe and it kind of all feels the same.
It's like familiar, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still
safe.
Like you can go into a store and like find things that you'll find in England and stuff like that, whereas like Asia is really different.
And you like your first time there, you fucking just got on a bike and cycled it. So what did you do? You did Thailand.
Okay, so I with Ed Hack, this guy called Ed Hack, he used to be in the parkour.
Yeah,
and
he's
world,
ex-parkour, right?
Into tricking as well, and he cycled from England all the way to Singapore, and then flew over to Australia. And I knew of this trip was happening for quite a while. He'd been planning it for
from your area.
He is from Basingstoke, but was going to university in Bournemouth for a couple of years. So we'd like trained a lot and like met up. And like I'd known about this trip for a while, and he actually originally asked me like, do I want to do the whole thing with him? And I was like, of course I can't do that. Like I was in college at the time, and I couldn't commit to like the full thing. I didn't have any money to do it really. And I remember like being... it was like a gathering with a lot of the brooming guys, and I was at Aiden's house, and he'd already been out for like quite a few months, and I'd kind of like dabbled into messaging him a little bit, just saying like, oh, it looks really cool. And then I think I messaged him that night saying like, oh, this looks sick, like if only I could join you. And he just said like, why don't you join me from Bangkok to Singapore? And I was like, I was just thinking in my head like,
I mean, you've cycled enough before, right? Because you used to be really into cycling.
So I used to do like fairly long distance cycling with my dad.
Yeah.
I used to do like 40 miles, 50 miles, like 60 miles.
For me, cycling to Dover, I think I'd die.
Yeah, I did 60 miles like last weekend with my dad.
Yeah, like I can't comprehend it. So if somebody was like, oh, just do Thailand to Singapore, I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, ridiculous.
And so it wasn't, and he said like, why don't you do this bit with me? So I was like, realistically, like, it's not impossible to do that. Like, it's something I want to do. I've never been to Asia. Like, I'd love to go to Asia.
Yeah.
And, like, from that night onwards, I said to myself, like, do everything you can to make this happen.
It's the manifestation.
And
you bought a bike, obviously. You didn't have a bike before, did you?
Yeah, basically, like, over the next, I think it was like a month or 2 months until I was, like, set to leave. He'd set the dates out of where like he'd roughly be in these areas.
Yeah.
And I said to him, like, I can't make it all the way down to Singapore, but I could do to Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. And yeah, over the next couple months, I kind of just made it happen. I booked the flights. I bought a bike. Yeah, I bought a new bike. Actually, the scariest thing was that I went into the shop to buy this bike, and they said that they didn't have the right size for the bike. So they said they could order one in,
but it would be too late.
No, they said to get there on time. And then I went back into the shop to pick it up, and they were like, "It's not arrived yet."
Oh,
and it was like only a couple days before I was leaving. I was like, I need this bike. Like, and so I had to swap it out for a different bike that they had in shop.
Like a hybrid or a road bike?
Yeah, so like it was originally going to be like the specialized hybrid, which was a bit nicer. But then they had this like other hybrid that they were selling on like sale. So I got it at like a bit lower price.
Oh, okay.
Still a nice bike though.
Still a really nice bike. Yeah.
You still got it?
Still got it. Yeah, still use it quite a lot. Yeah.
I remember you just like we were at Team Catalyst, like Project Underground, and you just kind of were like, yeah, I'm just going to cycle to Malaysia.
Yeah, you were showing us it as well.
It was like next month, and I was like, what the fuck? Like,
it all happened very quickly. Like,
yeah. But you said it so offhand, I was like, nah, he's not. And then like you were like, yeah, I'm leaving next week. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I think one of the flights were like one of the first things I did, and in that point, like it was real.
Yeah.
It was.
And you stayed with Anand for a bit, didn't you?
Yeah. So we flew into Bangkok, and we caught like a taxi to Anand's place, and we like built my bike.
Central Bang Na.
Yeah, that is it. Central Bang Na.
Yeah, anyone who's been to Anand's knows. Just you get in a cab and you go Central Bang Na.
Yeah.
And then what it is.
Yeah, and then you're there, like.
I literally built my bike like on Anand's doorstep.
That's sick.
And we stayed with Anand for a week.
Yeah,
we wanted to like explore Bangkok and stuff.
Was he kind of was Ed like he was doing it and being kind of like he if he wanted to stay somewhere for a week he could do it, like he wasn't on a time limit?
Yeah, not really.
It wasn't like, fuck, we gotta fucking rush through this.
Was he not going to stay with Anand?
He actually wanted. I was actually rushing him a bit too much.
Oh, really?
Because I needed to get
had to get through flights.
Yeah, because I had to get back to England for Enders Nye, Jan.
Yeah.
So I booked my flight like just before Enders Nye to get back, and like he actually wanted a bit more time to go through Thailand and Malaysia, so I did rush him a little bit. Sorry, Ed. But he was okay with it in the end.
He's probably in the middle of Siberia on a bike listening to this.
It just meant he had like a month to do this like kind of not very long bit.
Yeah,
but, like he said it was kind of nice in the end because he had like a while to reflect on his whole journey.
Oh, okay.
And that was like by himself. So yeah, I thought it was quite nice. Has a nice time reflecting. But yeah, we stayed like a week in Bangkok. One of the days we like cycled around Bangkok, which was like really cool. We like
terrifying.
Not terrifying. No.
Really?
It was like one of the sickest days. Yeah.
Because my experience of Bangkok is like hectic traffic and like kind of. Scary
some of the fun
roads.
of it. That's some of the fun of it, for sure.
I'm so unconfident on a bike. Like, a lorry goes past and I feel like I'm getting sucked.
I feel like it'd be well fun on a bike.
We went to this like island which was like almost rural, like in central Bangkok.
Oh, really?
It was like this island which was like rural, and yeah, it was like really cool.
Sick.
What was your favourite place out of all of the stops you went?
In the Asia tour.
Yeah,
I don't know, it was all so good.
I just remember the
islands,
Snapchats of you.
Definitely the islands. It's near Phuket and some of the islands there.
Yeah,
they're definitely like touristy destinations, but some of them are like.
There's a reason why a lot of people go there, I guess.
Yeah, it's like the nicest places in Thailand. Yeah, like seriously.
Didn't you get chased by a fucking bull or something?
Yeah, so the worst thing about it...
What? Sorry, what?
Like, people think, like, dangers of it, like, you're going to get robbed, you're going to get...
Like, run over or something.
The worst thing about it was the nature, like... the first thing that we encountered... Ed had kind of told me, I'd been talking to him about like his previous trip, and it said like what had been the dangerous things, and he said like wild dogs have like chased him and stuff like that. He said there was one like specifically really bad one in Georgia. He'd been cycling and it was just like open countryside, and there was like a farm, and he could see it, and it was like a kilometre, maybe 2 kilometres away, and he could just see these dogs, like a big gang of dogs, like running from 2 kilometres away.
Jesus Christ!
Because there's just nothing else out there,
and there's nothing you could do. You could only go on one road.
Yeah,
right?
he couldn't like turn around and go the other way because they were
still going to follow you.
They would still outrun him either way. So he just had to like stay calm, keep cycling, and yeah, apparently
it's like booting Darwin in the face. I couldn't do it.
That's scary.
And yeah, he nearly got attacked then, and so he'd told me about the dogs. He'd been like, right, if there's like a standard procedure if you get like chased by a dog, like, because we had it multiple times, there was dogs, you basically just have to pretend like they're not there.
Oh, just carry on cycling.
What
if they like go for your ankles?
Don't go faster, don't go slower, just
stay carry on
the same speed.
That kind of makes sense, because otherwise they think that you're trying to like play along.
Yeah, that's it. That's the thing. If you like try and cycle if you try and cycle faster and like look back at them like you're panicked, then they think it's a game, or they think you're a danger to them.
Yeah, well,
they actually try and go for your ankles, and they'll try and bite you and stuff.
And I guess out there you've got.
So like, Ed told me like you have to stay calm, keep looking forward. Yeah. Like you can kind of look down at them like beneath your arm.
And are they running next to you for the enjoyment, or are they trying to bite your ankles?
I think it's mainly for like the protection of their property.
Yeah. So, but like, wait, so they're trying to bite you?
No, they're trying to scare you off. Almost.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you panic though, I think they will bite you.
Yeah, like if you start swinging legs.
Yeah.
That would be my immediate thing.
For sure.
I'd be like screaming.
You've basically just got to keep calm, keep carrying on, like, and then they'll eventually just like be bored.
Well, I guess because you're off their property, so they're like, yeah.
Whatever. Also that. So like the first time we encountered them, it was the worst time. It was the worst time. So we were like, we'd got out of Bangkok. It was like 2-3 days into the cycle, and we were getting into some like really rural areas of Thailand. And
is it into flat, hilly, like
pretty flat, mostly flat?
Because I don't think I could deal with hills.
You can like
with
hills. Hills are literally like it just takes more time.
But you're not getting gassed. I've only done like a bit of cycling.
Oh no! If you get like a good track going, you can smash out a hill and it feels so good.
I've done hills, but at the top I'm like gasping for breath and have to stop.
Yeah.
You probably but it's.
Oh, okay.
You feel accomplished. You feel accomplished.
Yeah, and then you take a breather and then you carry on.
And then you get sometimes like
a nice downhill.
There was one. Yeah, there was a few on the west coast of Thailand where there was like a couple big like ascents and then descents, and some of the descents I got on like GoPro mouth mount, and it was just really sick.
I think that's the thing. If you were like, Giles, let's go for a cycle tomorrow, I'd be like, there's a lot of hills, and that would be like the killer for me mentally. But I guess you just have
but there's always down into lower gears, and it's like kind of the same effort, but you're just not going as far.
Anyway, back to the dogs.
Yeah, so we'd got to this like rural area of Thailand, and we'd like kind of gone off to these like dirt roads, and although they were like they'd kind of like dodgy, but they were like still like it made sense. Mm-hmm. We were using like Google Maps for like directions most of the time.
Yeah.
And this one track kind of like went down into this like it just didn't look like a nice track, and there was like this house on one side and its garages on the other side, so this like path almost went through the house,
like the farm.
And we didn't see the dogs at first. We cycled through, and like as we got to the middle, I like looked to my left, and this dog like runs out, gets choked by a chain. I'm like, okay. And then these other dogs run out from behind, which are not on chains. And like we're like, oh,
that's the vicious one was chained up.
And like, so we like cycle off, and we're like, I took the precautions, like stayed calm.
Yeah.
The like owner was like shouting for the dogs to come back and stuff, so it was like kind of okay.
Yeah.
And then we went onto this like very small, like almost a walking path, and then there was a bridge that crossed a river.
So you like one in front of the other, like you can't go side by
single
side.
file. Oh, and it was a bridge that crossed a river, and we could see on the other side of the bridge there was like 3 dogs, like a pack of them waiting at the other side.
Oh my god.
And me and Ed were like, oh my lord, because we'd just been shaken up, and then we see these dogs and they're literally foaming at the mouth.
But surely if you stop,
they
can still come across the bridge if they want, if you stopped.
Yeah. We kind of stopped at the other side. It's like fairly long bridge.
Yeah.
And we could see them at the other side. And
you stop and have a little think.
Kind of like
some stones.
Like we were just like, okay, keep calm, like stay to like normal procedure.
Did you have rabies jab?
No. It was so expensive to get rabies jab, and like I was obviously in a rush to like get out to Thailand.
You know, my mum went to where'd she go? She went somewhere on holiday last year, and she didn't tell me until she got back. She was like, I didn't have a rabies jab, and like she was like doing jogs along the beach. Sorry, police going to arrest my mum for not having a rabies jab. Yeah, she was doing jogs along the beach, and like dogs would like run alongside her and things, and she'd just be like pranging out. And then the yoga person that she was doing like who was instructing her, the week after she left, got bitten by a dog, and her rabies jab had like expired or something because she'd been out there for like, and she had to go like have serious medical treatment and stuff like that, just in case like it was.
Well,
rabid.
I'd like looked up before, and it said like
It's only certain areas.
Rabies jabs like isn't necessary.
Yeah.
And it said like most dogs don't have rabies, although like
most.
yeah.
Fuck me.
Okay, wait. We were crossing this bridge.
Yeah.
And
all of this in your head.
we kind of I did like a nice pace. I was thinking like, okay, I want to get through this pack of dogs. Like I don't want to like hang around for like a long time. And I was also like quite panicking. It was like I was already like panicking pretty much. And I cycled through, and like as I get to the other side of the bridge, the dogs kind of like stepped back a bit to see me coming through. And as I went through, I looked into their eyes, and they were just like, it was terrifying. Like some of the scattiest dogs you'll ever see.
Not like a kind of friendly,
like, oh no, not some furry, like fluffy little bear kind of thing.
Well,
it was
pretty like,
it was like
a
torn out hair, bloodshot eyes, like grueling dog, like teeth showing. Like it was what you see in your nightmares. Like, seriously. And Ed was behind me, so Ed was lucky because the dogs chased me. Like
oh really?
Yeah.
So they didn't go for the person at the back.
No, the dogs chased me. So as soon as I went past on the other side of the bridge, they're barking and like chasing me, and I'm like looking down, and it's right there by my ankle, and I'm thinking like, Jesus Christ, like I'm ready to kick this dog if anything happens. Like
but
I'm
surely
fighting for my life. Like I was filled with adrenaline.
Because if the dog wants to bite you, it could bite you quicker than you could kick it. Surely.
Yeah, but if you punched it like as it was biting you, then it would probably let go.
If I took one hand off the handlebars, I'm falling off a fucking.
Really?
I mean, I could ride.
To be honest,
I could ride one-handed for a while, but not if I'm trying to punch a fucking rabid dog. Like, I'd fall on it.
Yeah. And yeah, I just kept on cycling sternly, trying to keep calm.
Are you talking to Ed? Like, is Ed?
No. I'm like not thinking about anything. I'm just cycle.
Oh,
and it chased me for a long while, but eventually like went off. And Ed was like, that was one of the scariest dogs I've ever seen. Like he said, like, I'm surprised you balls through that and like kept calm. Like he was like, I don't know how you did that, Luke. And since that point, I basically had this penknife, and I carried it in. I had this front bag on my handlebars, and I carried the penknife in my front bag, open, ready
to stab a dog.
And if I saw dogs, I would get it out and have it on my hand, on the handlebars as I would ride through, and like I was not afraid to stab one if it bit me. I knew, like,
if you'd gone to that level, then I can imagine how fucked up it must have been. Yeah.
Whenever I saw a dog, I would get it out.
That's
just in
way
case.
more intense than parkour.
It was terrifying.
The fact that Ed did all the way to Thailand is like on his own. Is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That's such a life.
No, he didn't do it on his own.
Experience.
Oh,
like,
he did it.
He had people joining him at different parts of the trip. Yeah, like he was accompanied for most of the Europe trip, and then he was accompanied by like one other person, mainly through like Eastern Europe.
Oh, okay.
All the way up until I think he did like India on his own, and then he did like Myanmar on his own.
Yeah. Myanmar. That's where my mum went.
Yeah. And Ed said Myanmar was one of the like emptiest countries I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's really this like there's like political shit going on, which is different. Yeah. I'm bursting for a wee.
But yeah, you were talking about the cow.
Oh yeah.
So
wait, tell this story. I'm gonna go for a piss.
In Malaysia,
I haven't heard it, so you're gonna have to tell. You're gonna have to tell me.
In Malaysia, we were cycling along a road, like any other road, and we'd seen a lot of like cattle, and this farmer was like herding his cattle across the road, and it was just getting to like the end of the herd, like the half of the end of the herd was like crossing the street.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be okay to pass like on the very edge, to like be wary, and as I passed like behind the last cattle, I was like a meter or two away from the last cattle. The last cow turned around, and these are like horned cows.
Yeah, so they're like kind of bulls. But yeah.
It turned around and charged me.
What?
And I'm like,
while you're cycling away?
Yeah, I'm looking back, and this cow is chasing me down the road. I'm shitting myself. I'm like, oh crap! Like, what am I doing? And there's like cars, and I'm like swerving in between the cars, and meanwhile, like the people in the cars are just laughing at me. Like they just think it's a joke, and the farmer was like on a moped, like went to ram the cow with his moped, and like the cow got scared off.
Yeah.
Luckily.
What the fuck?
And they all just laughed at me, and I was like, okay, like.
I was like life-threatening thing, like a massive bullshit.
Yeah, I'm like scared for my life, and they're just thinking it's a funny joke, like a day-to-day business.
Jesus Christ.
To those following the Motus Prodcast drinking game, I just went for a piss.
That's it. Drink up,
is that
ladies and gents.
That's a point, I think. Yeah, I can't remember. We haven't actually fully publicised that, but we should do it at some stage.
So yeah, and then another piece of wildlife that like was apparently like dangerous to us. In Thailand and Malaysia, we stayed in durian plantations.
Yeah, durian plant.
There's like a lot of them, like
the big smelly thing, right?
Yeah, and they also have like pineapple plantations, which and basically. It's like a lot of their countryside.
Because wait, weren't you sleeping like just in bushes and on the side of the road and things?
Yeah, we were camping like most nights.
Yeah.
And then just waking up and cycling and then camping. And we're trying to find like hidden spots, and often like in the plantations would be like the best spots. And we camped in like like maybe a dozen plantations throughout our trip. And we got to Kuala Lumpur, our last stop, and we were staying with this guy called Muad'Dib, a sick guy who actually I'd met before in Basingstoke. He lived in Basingstoke for a good while.
So I guess I met
him at Basingstoke gym, and yeah, Ed was good friends with him, and we stayed with him. Awesome guy, like really well showed us around Kuala Lumpur, like amazing tour guide.
City or
Kuala Lumpur? Yeah,
is it a city or a country?
It's their capital. Capital of Malaysia.
Malaysia, okay, yeah. I'm uneducated.
And he basically said, like, his grandfather has a plantation, and he said, like, those plantations are some of the dangerous places, like, in the countryside, because snakes, lions, and spiders, like, that's their, like, natural habitat.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And he was like, I'm surprised you didn't see, like, anything at all, because, like...
hell.
That is like the worst place to be.
Just putting your shoes on in the morning, like fucking
massive lion or something.
I was thinking more a spider in the shoe rather than a lion.
I'd shake my shoe out. Imagine
shake your shoe out for a lion.
Yeah, a lion.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. So that's the Asia tour. It was 1,500 kilometers, 1,500 kilometers. So let's see the amount of days. I have all like the days written down on my phone.
What was your average like distance per day?
On like we did like on a we try and get like 80 kilometers was maybe our average.
Which isn't crazy, right?
It's not crazy, but like we weren't out there to have like a.
You weren't like smacking it every day. Yeah, because I remember talking to you and it didn't seem like you were like exhausted.
Yeah, like we were. Like I said, like I was almost rushing Ed.
Yeah, so he was going pretty chill.
Yeah, and like Ed wanted to kind of chill it out a bit more.
Because I guess at the end of the day, if you go at that entire journey, even close to hard, you're going to wear yourself out. Like neither of you are like professional cyclists and shit. So
okay, I think I did 22 days of cycling in total. Over
30.
It was like a month and a half.
Okay.
We had a week in Bangkok and a week in Kuala Lumpur.
That's sick.
And yeah, we had like a few days rest in some nice places.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of the time on the islands, which was really nice.
Did you do any cliff jumping?
We did these like in Kuala Lumpur. Muad'Dib took us to this like river spot, which was kind of cliff jumping. It wasn't like cliff jumping, but we were like jumping
nice
into water.
Session,
Yeah. My longest day was 140 kilometers, which was like the last day. It was cycling into Kuala Lumpur.
You get on the plane like,
no, it was because I'd had a week in Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah.
But like, it was so beautiful, the cycling.
Really?
Because we had this like, half the day was like trying to get to there, and then we were like cycling from the outskirts into the inskirts, like, into the central Kuala Lumpur. And it was like these beautiful bridges through the mountains, and the sun was just setting, and it was like such a perfect end to the trip.
It
was like really beautiful.
It's nice when things like that line up, rather than
it was perfect. Like I almost had a tear in my eye. It was
that's sick.
It was really.
Kuala Lumpur is the one with the massive like two towers that are joined by the bridge, right?
That's it.
It used to be like one of the world's tallest buildings.
Yeah.
It's crazy how a lot of people will never do what you've just done, what you've just said.
Well, it's like most likely in my life, unless I suddenly get into cycling, and I've been around cyclists a lot.
Yeah, you're never.
Will probably never. I mean, I'd love to go to all these places. I've done Bangkok, but like I'd love to go back. Yeah. We'll probably never cycle that shit. Like I'll never get chased by rabid dogs on a bike. I don't think I'd want to.
The thing is, like, it's a lot more simple than people think. It's literally just
we just do it.
It's doing a little bit every day, and you get like a far distance.
That inspires me so much.
That's life, isn't it? You just do it.
And it was definitely one of the most incredible trips I've had in my life, because I got to. The best thing about it was seeing some of the like rural areas of Thailand.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things I noticed was every day when I'd cycle on my bike, everybody would wave to you.
Yeah.
Like I'd be cycling past, and these locals would see these two white guys.
Place. It's ever like they could be working on a shitty little farm, and they're so happy.
Yeah, you'd see these old ladies that looked like they'd never seen a white person in their life before, and they were just like gobsmacked. They were like jaw dropped at you. They were like waving like with the biggest smile on their hands, like wanting to meet you and stuff like that. It was really nice. Yeah. We actually, in one of the places on the west coast of Thailand, it was like this little restaurant, and we just stopped there to get like some food, and like the food was really good, and we were kind of tired for the day, and this woman had like kind of a lot of space behind her like restaurant, like just open grass, and we just said to her like, would you mind if we camped there for the night? Like we're doing this cycle trip, and we need somewhere to stay tonight. And like, would you mind if we camped there? And she actually like opened up this whole room in her house for us.
Really? That's
and, like,
sick.
Got like pillows, like bedding and everything, and she like let us stay. And we spoke with her like all throughout the night.
Yeah.
Just speaking to her about like Thailand and like what she thought of other countries and stuff. And she had like the most beautiful mindset of life. And
that's sick.
And her son was like going to school for the first day the next day.
Oh, you were telling me about this, yeah.
Yeah, and we got
like
to,
little kid. Like,
yeah, we got to witness it. Like we were playing with our kid like all throughout the night, and we got to witness him like putting on his uniform in the morning, and then like going off to school that day. It was so nice to see. I got like a really nice picture of them both, like him in his uniform, and like her mum smiling. It was like really touching to the heart.
Yeah.
And I'll never meet her again, probably.
No, exactly. Like you don't. It's just I've got this thing now. Like sometimes I vocalize it, but probably often not. I just think it, where when I'm in situations where like I'm not in, because I mean we go to Belgium, we meet people, and I might, some of those people we met yesterday I might not ever see again, but most likely the majority will probably be at full of movement or whatever. But when you're a little bit more like rare in the place that you are, sometimes you say bye to someone, and in my head I'm like, have a good life, because you probably will never see them again.
Yeah. What was really touching about this woman was saying, we were kind of discussing with her like, do you ever have any ambitions to like travel like outside of Thailand? And she was saying like she never like really wants to. She's saying she's really happy with her life here in Thailand. She's really happy with what she's doing here. Like she was working at a restaurant serving people food. She says sometimes the poor come here and she feeds them for free. And she just says like she's really happy with where she is in life, and like I think she just wants to support her son and give him a good life. And
it's relative to what's shoved down your throat.
Yeah.
We see people like, oh, I'm in Bali and I'm in a bikini and getting paid to do it, and I'm here, and so we're like, fuck, I want to do that. And if you don't have it shoved down your throat, you're like, as long as you are happy being you
just love life.
You can like, I mean that, and that's what people say. It's like you just have to be happy in the present with yourself, like with your family, like, well, I mean, and at the end of the day, with yourself, and then the extension of that is like family and friends, and then from there you expand. And the problem is now people are like, I'm only going to be happy unless I get to go to Hawaii, and it's like, whoa, hold up, like,
there's one thing like really touching. She said like it was one of the last things she said in the night before we went to bed. She just said, you'll never take your possessions to the grave with you.
Yeah, you never, nothing.
Yeah.
Money, nothing.
That's so true. Like, if you buy that like 60-inch TV for your wall, if you buy that like £100,000 Mercedes, like you're not going to be able to keep that in your grave with you. You're not going to be able to.
You can take nothing.
Live that while you're dying.
The only thing you can do is leave stuff, which is either yes, you can leave money and things like this, but statistically, if you leave a huge amount of wealth, it's gone within like 2 generations. Like most people who leave like $100 million to their kids or whatever, it's gone within fucking 2-3 generations, because it's just like, so it's like you leave legacy, like you leave memories of you, and you're fucking lucky if that even lasts. Like, I don't know, my granddad's dead, like I I'm talking about him right now. I very rarely will talk about him because I don't know much about his achievements. When my kids exist, I might talk about him every so often.
Yeah, but
when my kids have kids,
they're probably never going to hear. Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, how much legacy can you leave?
Yeah, there's something like I always think about is, I've always like said to myself is it's not how much you have, but what you do with how much you have.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you seen that animation of the people who have like they have the sports car, and then it goes down to the person who's angry with the person who has a sports car, and they have like a kind of nicer car. Then it goes down to a person who has a less nice car, and they're angry with that. And then it's a person on a bike. No, it's a person on a bus, and then a bike, and then a person walking, and you think it's finished there. And then there's a person in a wheelchair looking at the person walking, and they're unhappy with that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it keeps going down. And it's like
everything's relative.
Yeah. It's like you don't have a car, you have to walk everywhere, but like you fucking can walk.
You
need to
you're never going to be in like the least position. Like
you need to really make the most of what you have.
On the flip side of that, you also encounter the thing of like, if you mentally are unhappy with in your own head, then kind of whatever. I mean, if you're unhappy about materialistic things,
but I think
then
there's a difference between like mental health being bad and being ungrateful.
Exactly.
You can really
for sure. Because that's. I mean, I think we talked about this on the podcast with Marlon, but like, I obviously went in on Instagram a while ago, and there was that one guy who was like, "You're a fucking clown. Like, people have it way worse off than you." But it's like, if you're unhappy about materialistic possessions, that's
being
one
ungrateful.
Thing. If you're unhappy within your own head and it's like a sort of chemical or whatever you want to call it, like thing, that's a completely different scenario. So if you're feeling bad, talk about it.
Exactly.
I do just want to say, in case anyone has just endured this an hour and a half, and Luke's audio is, hopefully it's not bad.
I know, because
does it look like it's peaking?
It looks like it's...
It always looks slightly like this, but this looks a bit worse.
Once again, we're still recording this in GarageBand. I'm trying to learn Audition, but it looks like Luke's audio is peaking horrifically. I don't think it actually is as bad as it looks.
It looks like yours is like not even showing up almost.
Yeah, but then when we actually listen to it, it should sound fine.
This is what it usually looks like, but yours is looking a bit crazy.
If Luke's...
might sit a bit too close.
I don't know.
think so.
I usually sit even closer maybe, but...
Just in case Luke has sound a bit blown out, we'd apologise.
Sorry.
we're still working on this. Should we do a music minute just for Luke?
Oh yeah, I did.
I'm excited.
Luke's been rehearsing. So as we sort of have been discussing, music minute is a thing that will pop in and out.
Yeah,
and I think
I didn't really want to. I don't want to start searching for new music just for music minute because it's just not natural.
Yeah.
I've like listened to a lot of the podcasts and like I've thought about like if I ever be on the podcast, like what you would do.
Yeah. So I think me and Keelan won't do one, but Luke has got one prepared.
Yeah.
So we can. This could be quite fun because in future we could put the guests to the 1 minute test. You better not be pulling up notes right now.
No, I'm just putting up one picture.
One picture. Okay. A picture's all right. It could be mental stimulus.
Okay. Shall I start?
What we do is we typically just count it to like. Wait for like
tenth of a second or something.
Do like 20. So you got 7 seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3. Luke Stones with Music Minute. Go.
Okay, my artist is Loyal Kana. He's a UK artist who, in his songs, usually talks about like love, family, and yeah, like he has very like it's like kind of hip hop genre, but it's kind of a bit more gentle than a lot of hip hop. And he's just released a new album recently called Not Waving But Drowning, which is like really good. It's nice like chill music to listen to when you've got like, I don't know, nice chill music to listen to. You can listen to it whenever really. It's good to like work to, it's good to like chill to, listen to. If you're looking for like one song which is really good, one of my favourites is called Looking Back. So Looking Back by Loyal Kana. Check it out. If you love his music, hit me up on Instagram. Be like, yes, Luke, thanks for that. But yeah, you're welcome.
Nice.
Nicely done in 60 seconds.
Yeah.
I thought I'd heard of this guy, but maybe I haven't. Maybe I'm thinking someone else. But I'm now following him on Spotify.
What does that do? Follow someone?
I don't really know.
I've never done that ever.
I figured what I thought it might do is that if you then start downloading albums, it automatically downloads them. But
when Post Malone just dropped a new album recently.
But it tells you like
it told me new album out now.
But I get that for artists that I don't follow.
Oh really?
I think it's just like a publicity thing.
Talking about Post Malone's album, I didn't think it was.
Well, I mean, he did fall asleep. So Luke got so excited. We're driving down to Dover for going out to Belgium, and he was like, "Oh shit, Post Malone's new album!" So we like queued it up on the ferry, got it all downloaded, and we got in the car and we started playing it. And we listened to you were really excited for the features, right?
I was excited for the features, but I was also excited to. I like his previous albums.
Yeah, I'm
really into some of his other songs. I've seen him live, and I thought he was incredible live.
Yeah.
So I was kind of expecting kind of similar genre to his old songs.
Have you listened to it again since falling asleep?
We listened to some of the features, but
you haven't given it because I think sometimes you just got to be in your personal space.
Yeah, maybe
to do an album.
Definitely.
Maybe.
If I'm listening to a new album, I can't be with anyone else.
Yeah, we started playing this album and Luke's all excited for the features, and he fell asleep literally as the first feature song started. I looked over and he was like, I listened to the entire album on my own. And
what did you think of it?
I'm not the biggest Post Malone. I mean, I've seen videos of him live, and I think actually he looks a lot more like genuine live than a lot of kind of hip hop artists.
When I saw him live,
I like his background and all of this.
So good.
I think he has a huge amount of respect and passion for a lot of genres of music compared to just. There's this whole auto-tune thing where he can rhyme pudding with smile, and it doesn't rhyme, but then they put auto-tune on, so it's and then the next word is and therefore somehow it sounds like it rhymes. I'm like, what the fuck? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Some of the features I thought were cool. There's obviously the
Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy Osbourne song is pretty.
Yeah, that's pretty cool that he's done a feature with him.
Yeah, and you see all the tweets, and they're like, "Who's this Ozzy Osbourne guy?" but so I got to the end of it, and I was kind of a bit this isn't exactly ticking all the boxes. And on the last song, Luke and Max both wake up and they're like, "Oh, did we miss it?" I'm like, this is the album that we've been listening to for you guys.
Well, yeah, I saw him live, and like you said, I think he's so genuine live. When I saw him at Wireless London 2018, and he came onto the stage with a beer, cigarette, and he was smoking, drinking all the way through his set, and he was every time before a song he would tell the story of the song. He would tell the story and he'd go, and this is how I made this song. I made Better Now.
He's undeniably a musician. He's not a hype. He's got a huge amount of hype behind him, but he can play the guitar. He has a huge amount of respect for rock, hip hop, etc., etc. So I've always seen that, and even though because some of the fucking lyrics are literally just there's a song about having chains and grills and money, and then the next song is about having chains and grills and money, but also drugs. And I'm like, hey, come on.
Yeah. I think this new album, I feel he's changed kind of genre. He's gone a lot more slower and low key,
would you
gentle.
say R&B, very.
I'm not sure, but
on that Drake.
He's just gone a lot more gentle, and it's more about the lyrics now. Whereas before, I definitely loved his the part of instrumentals and his the catchiness of his songs,
see, that's interesting, because I've always said
you're lyrical.
I'm hugely lyrical, but and even then
I can really connect with some lyrical songs, but I do love my instrument, the beat behind a song. I definitely
sure.
And
you like the way it sounds,
catchiness,
sure,
riffs and stuff like that.
Interesting. So me and Keelan are not doing Music Minute. Is there any artist that you feel need a shout out?
No, not at all. I'd say shout out for Ian for showing me some drum and bass that I'm actually kind of enjoying.
I feel
no one knows who Ian is, my next door neighbour.
Shout out to Ian.
No, I don't know. I'm not really a fan of the typical sort of chabby the kind of.
What do you call it?
He's been showing me. I don't know.
They have liquid drum and bass, and that is
liquid
jump up,
bass,
jump up.
Okay, but he's got into more liquidy sort of
stuff. I feel
drum
and bass it's the fact that every single song is.
Oh no! Yeah, because me and Max found this right. We were listening to some of the stuff that he showed me, and I was like, "Oh, that's really sick." And then after maybe 10 songs, I was skipping through, and I was like, all of these start in the same way. And then I was skipping, and I was like, oh, we've just listened basically to the same song 10 times. But I know it's nice. It's nice in the right moment. Definitely
Yeah,
not,
for sure.
Definitely not
It's
my
a bit of
preferred genre,
alcohol.
but
It's definitely not a genre that I've shied like away. I've never been like,
no. But
no.
like, and Shikari's like added some drum and bass and stuff too, which is quite nice. But it's not like constant.
It's when you listen to like an album and it's just
Yeah.
and it's
That's
just,
why
yeah.
I feel like the only drum and bass I'll be able to listen to constantly would be something that keeps changing up every so often. But yeah. Other than that, now I haven't really been listening to anything.
In other
new.
news, I've been listening to H, which is awful. Awfully embarrassing.
It's like,
I like the way he sounds. I really do.
it is kind of like quirky.
I had no idea who this guy was, and then heard him on something, and then I heard him on that Ed Sheeran collaboration thing, and he just has that like brummy. No, he's Manchester, isn't he? He's like some young little Manchester lad. But actually, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not an expert here, but I reckon he has better wordplay than like a lot of artists who are kind of up there at the moment. Like there's flows and shit that he. You're about to play it. Luke's about to play the bit.
In this song, like this bit is, I don't know why it's just so catchy.
Well, it's because it's like the first thing he comes in with.
Let me find it first.
If anyone, I feel like a lot of people know who this guy is now, especially in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not even grime, is he? I can't remember.
No, it basically.
It's this bit.
Here we go.
Right, this bit is so catchy.
Luke loves this.
Both hands on the back when I tap it, grab it and slap it. Becky a savage.
I mean, it's like the lyrics aren't like.
Do you think Becky's sitting at home having like Sunday dinner with her parents and being like,
Damn it, H, you weren't supposed to say that.
yeah, like, that song's about me?
Yeah, like it's just like about shagging a girl, isn't it? But it's just like
I think I'm
it's
just
that raw
it probably just has
London
the vibe.
grime.
No, but it's not even London, is it? I think that's the thing that gets me.
Isn't he not?
He's from Manchester.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
But it's still
everything-
like that's still grime. Like,
Yeah,
no,
but it's
he's
just his
right.
It's still
accent. And he's your age. 19. Yeah, he's 19.
Doesn't
Oh,
sound
what am I
like
doing with my life?
Yeah, he could be doing collabs with Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
Instead, you're sitting here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dearie me. All right, we should probably wrap this up because it's fucking
Yeah, this is
bedtime.
weird. It's 1 hour and 45. I was thinking like, well, it's been
Max
about,
and Luke have got
it's
to
been
go.
about an hour now.
When you're having a chat, you don't know where the time goes.
Yeah.
Did I miss
Yeah.
his music minute?
You did?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
What was it?
Lil Kana.
It wasn't H. Oh, okay.
No.
Lil
No.
Kana, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, shut up, Max. You've had your chance. No, we'll get Max
Jesus.
on again at some stage. Hopefully, less alcohol in his system because it was a little bit hectic last time. I don't think we even
Broke
did the
loose.
like kind of Max, like you're really good at this. I think it was literally just Max and
Chatting
Keelan.
shit.
I was sober and you two were just chatting. Yeah, fucking absolute breeze.
Wank.
Yeah, I'll only have a couple glasses next time.
All right, should we wrap this up? You happy to wrap this up?
Yep.
You got anything else you want to say?
Shout outs.
Love you, mum.
Oh, what's your mum called?
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline.
Jackie Broom.
Wait, Jacqueline or Jacqueline?
Well, her full name's Jacqueline.
Jacqueline. Okay.
But it's Jackie.
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 Well,
Hello, Jackie.
Jackie Stone.
Thanks,
Wait, Jackie
Jackie, for
Stone.
supported me from day one.
She's
Jackie Broom.
Oh, it was. I've never really had. I mean, I've met your mum. It was.
Did you?
Yeah, when we stayed at your house.
Oh,
UK
okay.
tour. But it was when we were taking you to the hospital, and it was kind of this thing of like, do you want me to call your mum and tell you that you've just like brained yourself, or are you going to do it? And you were like, yeah, I'll do it.
Well, like Woodward asked, like if
Yeah. Well, I guess Wood would have to like. I mean, they must do that shit every other fucking day. Like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and you were like, yeah, I'm just on my way to hospital, and you just
Well, I
didn't.
wasn't going to call her.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't find my insurance, and I was like,
That was it.
I couldn't find insurance, and then I was like,
middle of the night.
I was like, oh, I think my mum has insurance with the home insurance.
Yeah.
And so like I called her, and yeah, she woke up in the middle of the night and she tried to find it. And she was like, yeah, you're not covered. And I was like, okay,
This
thank
is gonna
you.
be expensive.
Well, I'm on my way to hospital now. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. Enjoy going back to sleep when you just found out your son's brained himself.
Yeah, and
Luckily, to
luckily
pay like 20 grand or something.
it
Yeah.
wasn't that much. It was
Yeah, it was pretty good.
the
Right?
we can say the medical bill was just over $1,000 in dollars
Yeah.
in the end.
Yeah, sounds like
good.
so far you've got very fucking lucky with bills,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But the thing is, it just said trauma care and then
Yeah.
$1,000, and then it said like CT scan free.
Free.
Zero. It just said zero.
Maybe they were just like, this guy's cool.
We'll let him off.
Yeah,
we'll let him off this
discount.
time.
Like
Yeah.
he's got a blue tick on Instagram. Free. I mean, you haven't.
Well, I
but
don't.
One day.
Yeah. But yeah, luckily found insurance as that
yeah.
freak, as you said, asked me.
No, I didn't.
You called him a freak.
No, I think
and
I think I called him a slug.
Yeah. I thought he was a nice guy. Well,
He was a nice guy because you shared
basically, he has 2 Mazda RX-8
and a Nissan, right?
with rotary engines, and he has an R33 Nissan Skyline.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Which is a beast.
It was more the fact that he like wheeled the computer in. He was like,
and he has an RX-7 as well, which is like
RX-7's
the really. It's like the one that Han has in Fast and Furious.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah. RX-7's
really
a
nice.
fucking rare compared to the.
Excuse me, sir.
that's
If you
the
got your insurance details, I just need to find out so I can fucking bill you.
anyway,
Yeah.
Cool.
That'll do.
that'll do.
That'll do.
Have a good day, night, or morning.
Whenever you're listening to
Yeah.
this will come
Remember
out.
to check out whatever your face music minute.
Yeah.
What's his
Yeah,
face?
Loyal Kana.
Yeah, check him out. Sweet. Love you guys. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
See ya.